Fight fans of fighting. We're back. The Real MMA Bros. You got Chris McNeil over there. You got Otis Etchcombe over here. Wonder Twin Powers unite. We become the Real MMA Bros.
Activate.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, back to norm. It's gonna be kind of odd now. Since the last pods we've been together, and now you back off on the East Coast, and I'm out here in Yuma.
No, I miss it already, brother. I miss it,
Oh
dude.
man,
The flow when we're together, the flow. I feel the energy. I don't know about you. I feel the energy. Like
yeah, we can feed off each other. We
there's
can
a
feed off
cosmic
each other.
energy coming. So here it's I don't know. It's strange, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Still good.
Oh yeah, it's 9 out of 10. We're definitely
Yeah.
we're I still feel bad about that podcast that will never be. Dude, for all the viewers, for all the watchers, we literally did a bonus show, an NBA bonus show. We murked it. I don't even
killed it.
Seriously, like the flow, the information, the everything. It was perfect. It was perfect.
It was phenomenal. We did a redid, which was really good, but first time was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was 10. It was the best. It was the best. And I was just everything, the quips, the back and forth, the information. It was, but some people don't. When you don't press the record button, it doesn't record. So just for a heads up. So we had a great night of fights last week. The Derek Lewis UFC 265, Derek Lewis versus Gane. We're gonna start at the bottom, go to the top because that's how I roll. Let's start with my boy, freaking Song Yandong with the victory over Casey Kenny, round 3, unanimous decision. How do you feel about that fight?
I was expecting Song Yadong to finish because he has great knockout power. He was very aggressive. He couldn't put him away. He was trying, but it's kind of hard to put someone when they're a game. You got two equally good guys. I was impressed by Song Yadong. I was expecting to finish, but he had a great strategy. He's always aggressive, alpha male guy, always aggressive.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with this fight, to be really frank. I expected it to have a little bit more fireworks. I think I think maybe it's just matchmaking. Both of them are fairly equally. They're pretty equal in skill and technique. So, but Casey was going for it. He was gunning. He was talking to Song Yudong and smiling, doing the thing. But I just feel like there wasn't enough. Aggression. Like there was enough aggression. They were definitely aggressive, and it was a good fight, of course. But there wasn't enough meat in the middle. I thought it was gonna just literally they were gonna just go rock and sock 'em robots. But
Casey has something to prove, especially after the Dominic Cruz fight. He has something to prove, and he was going out there for it. And I think Song Yadong, he was going for the kill, but Casey was game. Casey has something to prove.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Casey was game. I think that's what. If Casey wasn't as tough as he was, it might have. Song Yudong would have got the finish. But next we got Tisha Torres, Angela Hill. This was a heartbreaker for me, brother. I was like, I wanted Angela Hill. I'm like, she was just going up that mountain. She was almost there, but she fell. She fell down the mountain. How far is the question now?
That's a good question. This is a perfect example of someone having your number. When Tisha fought her the first time, Tisha out wrestled her. She didn't have any answer for her wrestling. Hill had the better striking, but Tisha out grappled her. This fight, Tisha outstruck her.
Complete opposite.
Outstruck her, so a complete opposite. I don't know if Angela Hill was so focused on the grappling aspect
Takedown?
to where. Say what?
Focused on the takedown?
Yeah, she was so focused on the takedown and the grappling aspect. I think it may have took something away from her striking. But the thing that was so obvious was speed. Tisha was so much more faster than Angela.
Yep. Like so much faster. There was, remember that part where they slow-moed something? Literally, Angela Hill threw a punch. Halfway through, Tisha threw a punch, and Tisha's punch hit first. So, I mean, that tells you something.
And this lets you know really how much Angela focused on the grappling more because she wanted to show her improvements. Angela took her down.
Yeah.
So Angela was focused more on the grappling than her striking because Angela is a striker by heart. That's her base.
Yeah, that's her bread and butter.
But speed kills.
Yeah, Tisha Torres just speed kills. Speed won that fight. She was just the quicker fighter. It's like you said, it's the complete opposite of the first fight. Like it wasn't exclusive. It was mostly standing up, and Tisha Torres dominated the stand up. So it
Hmm.
was it was one of those where Angela Hill rolls down the hill. I mean, with the strawweight too, she's not like she 2, 3, 4 fights. She's right back in there, but
Yeah,
it's just a sad loss.
she's a fan favorite, and people like her, and she does all other things. I think she'll be back.
Then you got my fight of the
And she's
night,
active.
freaking Michael Chiesa, Vicente Luque. That was just that was fireworks from the get go. I loved it. Such a good back and forth. Chiesa had Vincent Luque in a tight. I was like, oh shoot! But somehow Vicente Luque survived, and then bam with that freaking beautiful darce. Like it was so tight. It was like instant. It was instant. Like it was like, and we're not. Michael Chiesa's no slouch on the ground, man. Like he's
No.
like legit, really his
Yes.
grappling
Yes.
phenomenal. So I just think fantastic win Vicente Luque. We got the champion Usman over there tweeting, "Let's dance, let's do it." I love it.
Hmm.
I would say maybe one more fight for Vicente just to get his name out there, name recognition, a good main event. But he's right there, dude. That's my boy. Like
Yeah.
I love me some Luque.
Yeah, Paramount with Leon Edwards, and then winner takes all.
Great
Since
Yup.
Dana said Leon needs to fight another fight, so taking what I thought about the fight originally, that was one of the reasons why I picked Chiesa, because Chiesa has phenomenal grappling, and he's able to bully people on the ground.
Yep.
And he had Luque in a couple bad positions.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and the RNC, the rear naked choke, is Chiesa's move. And that's his move. Normally, when he gets that on you, you're done. But Vicente showed great awareness, great grappling. And when he threw on that darts, and at the time, I thought it was a bad decision to continue grappling with him. When he threw on that darts, I'm like, oh, man. But
yeah,
it worked. But then again, that's his move now. That's his go-to move.
yeah, man.
I'm excited for Vicente Luque because one thing he's about, like, he's great at creating chaos. He's not going to be in a boring fight. He can create action, and he talks about that. He fights for the fans, and he tries to make sure that the fans are entertained. And he also mentioned that anyone that he fights will leave injured or hurt. They will know, win or lose, they will leave injured.
Man. The silent assassin is just perfect. He really is a silent assassin, man. And it's like you said, he's not. Dude, he can't be in a boring fight. First of all, he's good at everything. So wherever the fight takes you, he has something in his toolbox to combat.
Yes.
Like we said, Chiesa, he's dominant on the ground with people. He's coming up to 170, but he's not giving up any size. He's bigger than 170s. He was actually bigger than Vicente Luque. So
huge. And Chiesa, the reason why I went to the ground was Chiesa nailed a couple straight left jabs on Vicente.
Yep.
That hurt. Yep. It was herky-jerky a little while, and it went to the ground because of that. Chiesa was game, and Chiesa was pissed because he said this was the best he could be. He was very disappointed in himself losing that way. He really was, and he was game.
Let's be honest, if he was against someone who's a little Vicente Luque is a freaking animal, a beast. Like Michael Chiesa, anyone else on that rear naked, they probably would have tapped, man. Like,
yeah. That's why Chiesa was so mad, because he was so disappointed in himself for losing that way, because he was his best he can do, and Vicente finished him in one round.
It was fireworks. I loved it. But we got Jose Aldo. We got the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, coming back with the victory against Pedro Munoz. How do you feel about that?
Okay, Jose Aldo. He displayed his speed and his combos. He'd kill it for the body in the first couple rounds. Guess what he didn't
do in the first couple rounds?
And then the leg kicks.
Yeah, guess what he did in the third round? That freaking almost ended it. Like,
yes. For a life of me, I think it's an injury. It has to be.
Like, why? There's no. Whenever he does it, he has such success. Like, it's one of those things. Why wouldn't you do something if you have such success with it? Like, unless, like you said, injury, allegedly. But
yeah, allegedly, I think he probably it probably was due to a lot of them early, or he probably screwed up his shin or something. But I can tell it has to be, because that what made him special. And when he started doing that in the third round, success came.
Yeah,
like he could have got hard. He could have got so hard at one time
the guy
fell.
Yeah,
He
he
fell.
fell down. Like, and this is we're talking about Pedro Munoz, like tough SOB. Like, and he
He
floored him
was
with that leg kick. So
he wasn't expecting it.
no, that's one thing. This was one of those. I mean, I got a disappointment with Angela Hill, but I mean, this one kind of brought it back up. Jose, dude, like we've talked about it. Jose Connor destroyed. You see what Connor said too. He said he gave him props, the legend Jose Aldo. So that was good. But Jose, man, his career is very interesting in the fact that he was in the GOAT contention. He was one of the best
Hmm.
ever 145s. Arguably still one of the best ever 145s. Of course, you got to put Max up there, and I wouldn't even put Connor because Connor only fought. It was a very short time, and he only had the championship for a short time. But anyways, it's. I'm glad to see his success. Will Jose be the old Jose? Will he be back to championship at 135 now? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think so, but we can
Okay,
dream. Like we can hope.
two things out of that was Jose called out TJ Dillashaw for his next fight.
I love it.
That that would be
I
an
love it.
awesome fight. I would love to see that.
I love it.
Dillashaw
It's perfect for both. And
Dillashaw
then
was
the
coming
next
from
gets a
it.
title shot.
Yeah, and Dillashaw was coming from a leg surgery right now. He said it's gonna take 3 months. So he's called out Dillashaw. Also, that would be a great fight. I would love to see that fight. Also, uh, I've been hearing around some websites I go to and everything, and a couple people that I listen to, uh, analysts, they were saying that this is a perfect time to throw Connor versus Jose back at
What did I
155.
say? I've said this, I think, 2 or 3
You have,
podcasts already.
you
I'm like,
have,
this
you
is a
have.
perfect time for Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo too. And they could do it at 155. They could freaking do it at 170 for who
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
Jose could make 170. Like Jose, I
yeah,
don't know how he makes 135 to be really frank. He's
yeah.
super like what 2% body fat, but perfect
Yeah,
time for Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo too. And the thing is, both of them they don't lose anything from it. They win everything from it. Jose wins. He gets that back, that needed rematch, that victory.
yes,
It almost puts the world and the earth and the universe back into like
yes, yes,
relatively normal. But Connor just jumped the freaking atmosphere. But
yes.
also, same thing. If Connor wins, bam, he gets some rounds in the cage against a smaller fighter where he knows he has the height and reach advantage, and he knows he's knocked him out before. So I love it,
Yeah,
man. I
it
love it.
it gets Connor back on track.
Yep.
It gets Connor back on track. He get a win on his belt. So yeah, both of them can win from it. I'm all for it. We
I'm all
know
for it
Jose's
too.
game. We know
Yeah,
Jose's game for it.
it needs to happen. That's a great fight. And now we got the main event. Derek the Black Beast loses by KO, well TKO, to Cyril Gane. Round 3, 4-11. How do you feel about this fight?
Well, as predicted, third round TKO.
As predicted. Yep.
As predicted, how I felt about it was
Oh, we got to go to the prediction. I think we did pretty well. I don't remember the exact rounds and methods, but I think we did pretty well.
you did pretty well. Uh, the reason why I picked Cyril Gane TKO third round or KO third round was the fact Cyril Gane is a very patient striker and his footwork is amazing. Derek Brunson is great when the fighter gets sloppy or the fighter messes up and there's an opening, he can throw that right. Uh, Cyril Gane is a phenomenal striker. He's a Muay Thai guy. He's been striking all his life. You can tell the way he moves. All he had to do is train for that right, and he did well. And he was very, very patient. He systematically destroyed Derek Lewis in a game. Derek Lewis, but Derek Lewis can't do anything because he systematically destroyed it. He peppered his legs. He was very patient. He strikes, and then when he seen the opening, when he seen Derek Lewis was looking for a way out, he seized the opportunity.
It was literally not a lot of fights go this way where it's exactly how I thought the fight was gonna go. Like exactly. Just there,
Yes.
like I literally second by second, round by round, went exactly how I thought it was going to my head. I thought Derek Lewis was gonna try for that right. He did. He just couldn't touch Sarah. Cyril
Yep.
Gane was literally 18 miles away before
Yeah.
Derek Lewis could hit him. So
And when
exactly.
Serial,
Hey, turn off the TV, go upstairs. Turn off the TV, go upstairs.
Sorry about that.
I know. And when Cyril closed the distance and got murky, got a little close, he still avoided the strike. And a tough loss for Derek Lewis in his hometown game.
It
He
is.
really wanted to win hometown.
So bad.
And him being home in his hometown with the fans on his back and just to get annihilated like that is a tough loss for him.
He got annihilated. It wasn't even close, man. It was pretty much pure domination. Did Derek Lewis even land anything?
Derek Lewis needs to add more into his repertoire, more punches, more strikes to set up.
We say that, dude, but he's been around for a while, and I mean, Can you teach an old dog new tricks type of thing?
I think this would be the fight to do it because definitely so much pressure on him. And the thing about it is now he looks like a big black version of Roy Nelson.
Yeah. Well, that's without the ground game, basically.
One punch without the ground game, so one punch. So I think
we got Gane versus Francis Ngannou. How do you see that fight going? And you think they're gonna make that fight? Of course, they have to.
Yes, they will make that fight. Hold on for 1 minute. I got to do something for me. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute. So
just to tell all the fans and whatnot, we're gonna be going over the aftermath UFC 265. We're almost done that. Then we're gonna be looking ahead with Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum. Great fight. Go review that card. Then we're gonna be talking about the recent retirement of Jacare Souza, what he meant to the game, and moving forward, how the middleweight division is going to stack up, and then we're gonna, of course, go to our infamous. I don't know if it's infamous, world famous, infamous, the best bonus show to ever be made. So we'll talk about, but the bonus show is always a secret, so you got to watch it to find the content. So. But yeah, I just think Ciryl Gane, Francis Ngannou is gonna be a fantastic fight. Both their striking is both. It's really funny. Like they really mirror each other a lot. They obviously train together, so they have very similar stand up. But Ciryl Gane has a kickboxing fluid, bouncing on his toes, while Francis Ngannou just has that prodding. Just I touch you, you're gone. Like. So Ciryl Gane's definitely going to pepper a lot more and do his thing. I just don't see. I think Francis Ngannou's on another level, dude. I think Gane is like right up there. Of course, he's the interim champion right now. He beat Derek Lewis in a dominant fashion. But Francis Ngannou is not human, man. Like he's some sort of genetic. He reminds me of like Yo Romero. Just their bodies are just. Like they're what Greek gods. Like literally, if you looked at Francis Ngannou back in the Greek days, you'd be like, he's a god. Like they would be like, look at him.
Yes.
He puts people to sleep. Like he touches you, he puts you to sleep. So I think Francis Ngannou is gonna win. I think he is gonna win. Is he gonna win by knockout TKO? I don't know. It really depends on his game plan and if he sees any flaws in Gane's. I mean, they did train together, so they know each other quite a bit. And I really, 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 really think Francis Ngannou is going to have a dominant reign as champion. I think he might go down as one of the best ever, to be really, really honest. So, and then with the heavyweight division, we got John Jones and Stipe Miocic. Miocic is agreeing to a John Jones fight. Jones has been obviously heavy lifting. He's been deadlifting for the past 2-3 years to get up to heavyweight. I don't know why he had to just do deadlifts to get to heavyweight. Yeah, that's a very interesting fight, and I'm excited to see that fight only because I think it would a loss for Stipe with John Jones wouldn't mean as much. It wouldn't sting as hard as his previous loss, like the DC loss, and the Francis Ngannou loss. Those stung, but to be fair with Stipe too, I mean both those fights, DC and Francis Ngannou, he has wins over, so he has some stuff to talk about, but. I'm excited to see Stipe back. I'm excited to see John Jones go up. So, and we'll definitely be watching those fights. Hopefully, do some sort of fight companion with all of them. Just to tell everyone too, we did do a fight companion for the Derek Lewis UFC 265 Derek Lewis Gane. It went pretty well. It was 4+ hours of streaming, so you're welcome, everyone. Like that ain't easy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Let me go over the Ngannou Ciryl Gane fight.
Yeah.
How
do you feel?
Okay. as you said, both of them are physical phenoms. They're like, when you look at these guys,
Genetic
they're
specimens. Like,
genetic specimens, and also their movement too for their size is extraordinary for the heavyweight division. I believe, and they have a great backstory with Fernando Lopez training Ngannou for the first Derrick Lewis fight and championship fight, and Ngannou coming up short. Now you have this Cyril Gane, who is a younger version, maybe more, and he closed the deal. So that's a storyline because Ngannou, because he couldn't close the deal, he went to Vegas to train away from Fernando Lopez.
Good point.
So Fernando feels some type of way about it, and also Cyril Gane mentioned that too a couple of times about the training, and he bigged up Fernand for helping them close the deal. So there's a big storyline behind that. The way I see the fight going is the difference between Ngannou and Derrick Lewis when it comes to game planning for Cyril Gane is Ngannou has more in his repertoire. And
I was literally gonna say that. I was like, Ngannou has way more tools than Derrick Lewis. So
way more tools than Derrick Lewis, and he has more ways to set up his punches. Now, if Ngannou before Stipe Miocic, I would say Cyril Gane stands a better chance because Ngannou used to just come in and throw hooks, wild hooks and stuff like that. So now he's patient and he picks his spots. That's gonna make
How do you see someone beating Francis Ngannou this patient? He has all of the strength, all of the speed, all of the power from the previous Stipe fight. Now he's patient. That's it. Game over. Like that was what he needed, and he did it. Like
now he's patient. So I see Francis Ngannou winning that fight just off of their prior experience with training, and he has more ways to set up. It's going to be a more tricky fight for Cyril Gane.
And hey, who knows? He might have a ground game, a spectacular ground game that we don't even know about. Like he definitely has the strength. Like who knows? He might be phenomenal on the ground. You've never seen it.
He did have a couple of submissions early in his UFC career, and Cyril Gane had some good submissions too. So he could be even more phenomenal because that last camp he focused a lot on grappling, and it showed.
Yeah,
they said
it did.
His partner said he was obsessed with grappling,
as he should, because that was his only weakness. The Stipe Miocic fight, he exploited that. Obviously, Stipe survived the first 2 rounds, which all these big punchers. That's the big thing. If you survive those first 2 rounds, there's something about the fast twitch fibers, the strength, the power. It just diminishes quite a bit, and you cannot physically knock someone out at that point. You can hurt them and possibly get the TKO maybe, but you can't make them go night-night. You can't make them go to sleep. There's just not enough power you can generate. So
yeah, that is why Derrick Lewis, the way his body looks, he can maintain his power because he don't have the muscle.
That's exactly right. Okay, we got a great card coming. UFC Fight Night, Cannonier vs Gastelum, Saturday, August 21st. Of course, we got Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum, but we're going to start at the bottom, see if there's any interesting fights. We got Alexandra Pantoja versus Brandon Royval, skip. Courtney Casey versus Liana Zhozhou. I have to, dude. First of all, I'm just gonna say this about that fight. Courtney Casey is 9-9. Like,
yes.
Come on.
Come on.
Oh God. But we got Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. Clay Guida versus Mark Madsen. That's gonna be fireworks. Mark Madsen 10-0. And then we got Jared Kennedy or Kelvin Gastelum. So this is one of those.
Hold on. What about Vince Pichel versus Austin Hubbard?
Where's that? Is that on the prelims?
No. This is on the main card.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. Vince Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. I do like Austin Hubbard. I think he's a fantastic fighter. He's very pressure forward. But again, this card's one of those like, hey, like, do you not have a name? Go on this card, like.
Yes, we need to pay our fighters. So
yeah, we need to pay. This is your paycheck. Like, we're not expecting big numbers on this, but who knows? Might get some knockouts of the year, some submissions.
Speaking of paychecks, right? speaking of paychecks, let me pull up her name. Cheyenne Buys, the woman
Yes.
that had an issue with the paychecks. Dana White, you remember the last fight when she fought? She was talking about how broke she was.
Yep.
Okay. Dana White had a response to that about fighters' pay. He was like,
"Oh, I'm excited to hear this." What is he saying? A big FU, probably. Like,
yes, he said she made 80,000 in the past 3 months.
So
80,000 in the past 3 months.
I think we said this on the live stream, Chris. We're not MMA fighters. We've never been professional fighters. We've never anything. We've just, we're very, very in-depth fans, I guess you could say. But saying that, we know, like, there's a lot that goes into an MMA camp, whether it's an 8-week, 12-week. There's so much money that to be at a high level. Let's just switch sports. LeBron James. Allegedly, LeBron James spends millions to train to get to the level of where he's not a nutritionist, strength and conditioning coach. Sometimes now there's sports psychiatrists to get you in the right mindset with these. Like, there's a lot. The coaches, there's at least 3 main coaches. Your main coach, jiu-jitsu, striking. Dude, all those people are getting paid. Like, you're paying those people.
Yeah.
So you could easily $20,000, $40,000, $60,000 on a fight camp. Easy. So
I agree. Well, let's not go to LeBron. Let's go Markel Fultz, because LeBron James is the cream of the crop. He's
LeBron
a James. Let's go with Markel Fultz, which he was the #1 pick a few years ago with LeBron James, with the Lonzo Ball's draft. And I call it Lonzo Ball because everyone focused on him. They didn't focus on the #1 pick. Okay, Markel Fultz he had to see a sports psychiatrist and he had to see a sports coach just to learn how to shoot again. And he was a rookie, which is essentially what Buys is. Well, Buys is a rookie, and they provide the resources for him. He had the rookie minimum for a #1 pick, and they provide the resources and all these things for him that the NBA provided and paid for him to get the help that he needed.
They paid for it.
Assistant, and he's a rookie. This is what Buys is. Buys, the UFC doesn't pay these fighters for their training camps. Like a lot of these fighters, after they get that purse, they split it out to the camp and the trainers. So if she made 80,000, let's just say 25 to 30 of that went to camp, and with the camp and minimum and other things. So out of that 80,000, she may have gotten maybe 30 to 40,000 that she took home with, and it's only 80,000 because she made Dana feel sorry for her when she was talking about how broke she was and gave her that performance night. If it wasn't for that, take away 50,000 from that, and that's 30,000 that she made.
That's a good point, man.
And she would have to split that 30,000 with her camp and with her guys. So then she would have brought home maybe $5,000 to $8,000.
Dude, let's get a little philosophical with this. We got a little bit of time, so this is the trick of the rich. Here we go. You guys want to go into some philosophy, maybe some economics, some theory, some economic theory. The trick of the rich, okay, is to make you think that multiple things, that you're not worth what you think you're worth. That's the number one. And also to not know what they get paid. Like the top of the top. Dana White doesn't want these fighters knowing that he's $500 million that he got like from the UFC or whatnot, while they're scratching their pennies together trying to make this. They don't want that, or he doesn't want that. That's the trick. Like, and not only that, with Dana White, he has that. I don't want to go on conservative, Republican, or whatnot. Attack. Like that's his first response. Like, oh, you don't get paid enough? You're a piece of shit. Like, you get paid enough. You get $80,000. Plenty of money. It reminds me of when the perfect meme was when the stimulus checks came out, and they were like, oh, it was $1,200 or something like that. That's what rich people think poor people think is a lot of money. That was like oh my God,
that's
look, you got $1,200. Do you think $1,200 is a lot? Like, no, you don't. Like, especially for months and months and months of like, it does the.
That's a fact.
The it's so, what's the word? It's so like stupid. Like, I'm sorry, like it's so like.
Yes, and it happens a lot into sports because majority of these people in sports, and we go with fighting, comes from a background of not of poor or hungry background. Like
Exactly.
in
Yep.
fighting, you come from a hungry background, so you sell this stuff to these guys, and they're easy to go for, and
Yep.
they're gonna go for it. But once they start talking back about it, what the wealthy and the people of status do is they shun those people. They talk about them and they throw a number at them, make them seem like, oh,
And
they just
again,
complain.
for fighters in sports, the percentage of guys who quote unquote make it, become millionaires at the top, low percentage, man. Like I remember
Very low
GSP was
percentage.
talking about it. Like he always talks to the fighters. Like if a fighter's like GSP, can I like do it? He wants it. No, don't do it, dude. The percentage you're gonna make it is so low, and not only that, the sacrifices you have to make are almost like not worth it. Like we're
Yes,
talking years of years. Like.
yes. Cause to be honest with you, like you have the Conor McGregors and you have the people like the Khabibs and the people that talk trash and say all these things. To be honest with you, all these fighters feel the way they do. They just don't have the clout or the collateral to express themselves, expose themselves, and say that because they fear of losing income. These guys, and at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are not afraid to rock the boat because they're fighters. They're fighters. They embrace conflict. But what they do is they're more conservative what they say now because they don't want to lose anything. Well, that's why I'm happy that people push back at Dana because Dana tossed out she made 80,000 a past 3 months. That sounds like a good time. It's come on,
Hey,
Dana.
well, hey, it's not a podcast. It's not a real MMA podcast if we're not throwing one of the Paul brothers right in here. So it's like, dude, right now which is really weird. The number one proprietor or like what do you want, activist or what you want to say for fighters pay are the Paul brothers. Like they're the little ones, the ones that are saying it out loud because, like you said, they don't care. They made their money.
No.
Like they're like the top. They know. They're like, we're one of the rich people. Like I have more money than
Yes,
Dana. Are you kidding me? I'm like a multi. I literally wipe my butt with $100 bills. Like I throw
yes,
it like it's nothing. And
yes.
and I see what these fighters get paid. It's nothing. Like compared to what
It's,
the owners and the top guys get paid.
and a famous quote of Chris Rock said, people want to be Shaq. Shaq is rich, but the person signing the check is wealthy.
Yep. I say that, dude, all the time. It's so true, dude. It's so true.
Dana's wealthy. And hey, let me pull up this quote so I can speak to exactly what Dana said.
Yep.
There's a lot of people on their way up who are broke, struggling, trying to make it. White told MMA Junkie. The flip side to this is she's 1-1 in the UFC and made 80 grand in the last 6 months. This is one of those sports you got to win. If you win, everything's good. If you lose, everything's bad. That's the nature of the beast.
Okay, that's true. That last part is correct. I do agree with Dana on that one. You do have to win, and you do have to win relatively impressively to like be good, be excel. You could say that with all sports though, but
No,
I think
I don't know.
the point is when they do win, how much are they getting paid? That's my point, and they're not getting paid enough, especially these rookies and young fighters.
And see, here's the thing. I can't really say it in all sports because the NBA signed guaranteed contracts, right?
True.
And LeBron lose every
Well,
game.
what do all sports
or
have that UFC doesn't have? Union.
a union.
Yeah. So they need a fighters union. I'm telling you, like
They need
Dana don't want that. Because that goes his bottom line.
No, if they bring in a fighter union and they go over things like fighters pay, then it will become public knowledge of what they actually get paid. It will not be any hush money that they just give to the fighters just to make them feel good. Everything will come out. Then what it will do is it will set up like a standard hierarchy. If you come into the UFC, this is what you're going to get paid. And Dana do not want that because Dana will lose a lot of money. And the UFC is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, and they just recently, yeah, we don't have to beat a dead horse with that, but it's obviously the fighters, young fighters especially, are not getting paid enough. If Dana Fight Right can argue that, it's no argument, man. They're getting paid. Remember back then it was 20 and 20. Like Nate Diaz Nate Diaz fought forever and was getting like 60-60. He was on his contract. He had like 20 some odd fights in the UFC and he was still getting 60-60. It was recently the Conor McGregor fight put him over the edge.
Yes. So, and the thing too is, if you ask me, because it's such a short window, the MMA fighters should get paid handsomely. because they're in the hurt business. Their window is short. They should get paid handsomely. A lot more. Let's just say the entry level for a fighter in the highest company UFC should be 50.
Yeah, that's minimum. Minimum
50.
Maybe even 100. I'm more of the 100,000. I think not only can the UFC afford that, I think that's no one can argue 100,000 with one fight. That's money. Like there's no argument with that. Like,
or especially for what they go through.
Yeah.
What they go through, and what they should do is minimum 100, no win bonus. You can still get performance of the night bonuses, but no win bonus, minimum 100.
But you know what Dana's gonna say though? He's gonna be like, well, if there's no win bonus, guess what? They're not gonna fight as hard. Like he wants them to be hungry. He wants two hungry dogs attacking each other, and then us to all clap and like.
And for them to get those 2 hungry dogs get paid the minimum while they go out there and risk everything and go for it.
Luckily, like knock on wood, luckily we've had no deaths in the UFC. But wait till that happens. Like it's obvious, it's going to happen one of these days. Unfortunately, I don't want it to happen. Of course, we're blessed and very lucky that it hasn't happened as of yet. But when it does, dude, then that's gonna open up the door to union talk. You got to talk about unions. You got to talk about medical. The boy, what's his name? Freaking black guy. He had that the elbows, the crucifix elbow knockout he had way early in the UFC.
What, Luazo?
What?
David Luazo?
No, not you know who I'm talking. Big black guy. He had that crucifix elbow. In the comments, if you know the fighter, comment. But what's his name? Get it before Chris.
You said he won with a crucifix elbow.
Yes, crucifix. Remember, he got him in the crucifix and was elbowing that guy to oblivion. Big, huge guy.
Emmanuel Yarbrough. Like
no.
He's Canadian.
Get it before Chris. Type in the comment section.
Okay, he's Canadian. What's his name? His name.
He's Canadian, big bald guy.
Dude, he's Canadian.
Hey, have you been taking your Alpha Brain, by the way?
No, I haven't. I need to take one. But yes, I know. And now he's all. He barely can speak now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my point. Like,
he barely can speak now.
Yes. He's like literally cannot speak and messed up. It's on the tip. Literally, if you said it, I would be like, I could think about it and get it. But anyways, we won't waste enough time. But anyways, long story short, why I wanted to use that example is same thing. He way back in the day, like, dude, the sacrifices he made for his body, dude, and now look at him, like he's can hardly speak, like. So it's like, dude, financially, maybe I know he went over to Japan, made quite a bit of money and whatnot, but with millions, he didn't make millions. Like,
no, he did not. He did not. A lot of these fighters did. And can you imagine what the minimum fight was then?
Yeah, $50, $100, like. You show money like $100, and if you win, maybe we'll give you like a case of beer or something. Like,
it's freaking crazy. If they bring in the union, if they become really legit, Dana will lose a lot of money. But for the fighters, it'd be the perfect thing. For the fighters, they need it.
They definitely need it. It's one of those things. It's only gonna happen if the top of the top, all of them have to agree. I'm talking about like John Jones, Conor McGregor, even GSP come back and be a proprietor. All these greats, Anderson Silva, come and be like, no, it's time, guys. Like, we're the top of the top. We're making the money. We're doing we're doing our thing. But everyone, it's a collective. We need everyone to be okay. So, but we'll move on. And we got a legend of the game retiring. Ronaldo Souza is retiring from MMA. How do you feel about that, Chris?
Well, he needs to retire. He lost 4 in a row, and he lost in devastating fashion. Right now,
let's talk about that. Pause real quick. So we got the last 4 fights. Jack Hermansson decision, UFC Fight Night, April 27, 2019. Then he lost to Jan Blachowicz by split decision. So split decision, November 16, 2019. He got knocked out by Kevin Holland in one of the most spectacular sitting on his butt and then turn and then knock him out. That was pretty crazy. But then he just lost to Andre Munoz, technical submission armbar, where he broke his arm. May 15th, 2021, so pretty recently. So he's had some pretty he broke his arm and he got knocked out pretty devastating fashion his last 2 fights. So
Yeah, and I think too, it was a grind in him coming from that injury. Also, in the striking, his striking was never really that decent. His boxing improved,
just prodding
but
forward power shots, but
only problem with that was with age you get slower. Even though his boxing improved, he got slower. And then middleweight division, a lot of speed. He left. He also mentioned that he left because he wanted to go back to his first love in jiu-jitsu. And he wanted to test himself because there's a lot of new techniques coming out now. So he's embracing back to his jiu-jitsu, and I'm happy for him. But me personally, I think the reason why he retired is because he's on a losing streak. Because guys like that, he's still been fighting. He would have still been fighting because it's in his blood. It's all he done. I think what happened was he probably either came to realization with recovering from the injury, or the UFC talked to him and gave him an option. And he's probably gonna be some type of ambassador for UFC Brazil when they go to Brazil and stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's a legend. He's like literally, you got Jacare Souza, dude. He's literally a legend of the sport. He's an OP. He back in Strikeforce, like his ground game is legendary. People, I was telling you too, people were scared to fight him. Like, we always throw that around, like people are scared to fight. No, people were scared to fight Jacare Souza. Like he was a beast back then. Like, we're talking like 5 to 10 years ago. Oh God, in the middleweight division, because he had such power, but it wasn't even it was the power mixed in, of course, with the ground. Everyone knew if it touched the ground, I lose. Like, the only thing I stand a chance if I keep this standing. But then he was starting to knock people out standing. So
it was like the Tyson effect. No one wanted to go to the ground with him because they knew once he went to the ground, it's like a blob. It's like quicksand. You go into the ground, it's only a matter of time before you get submitted. And he was phenomenal with it.
Yeah,
great fighter, Hall of Famer.
So we'll talk about his few. I mean, he was getting back and forth. He lost to Yo Romero, beat Vitor Belfort, beat Tim Bosch, lost to Robert Whitaker, beat Derek Brunson, lost to Calvin Gastelum, beat Chris Weidman. So he was going back and forth, and it just I think once you retire, again, we talked about this earlier, retirement doesn't mean taking a break. Like, retirement is like, okay, I am done. Like, I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to do this.
Yes.
This is a retirement. I think he's done.
I knew it was Gary Goodrich.
Gary Goodrich. There you go. Hopefully you beat Chris in the comment section, but Gary Goodrich.
Gary Goodrich.
Too. Poor guy, dude. He just he's obviously watched. I don't know the documentary I watched on it, but he's not the same person. He's losing his mental facilities, like.
Yes.
But yeah, so Souza's a legend. I really hope him the best in his next endeavors. I think if he does stick with the jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu is one of those games where you can do it relatively in your high 30s, 40s if you really want to. So
yeah, look at Al Bundy, Ron O'Neal. Hey, he's still pressing.
Yeah.
Now, so to get back to what we were talking about, was next up we was going to the Clay Guida fight.
Yep. Clay Guida
fight. What do you think about that fight?
Clay Guida, Mark Madsen. Mark Madsen's 10-0. Clay Guida 37-17. I think this is a lot of these older fighters. We've talked about it before. The young eat the old. So a lot of the UFC really wants Mark Madsen to get a name off of Clay Guida. They're hoping for fireworks. Clay Guida is rarely ever in a pouring fight. He does come to fight. This guy doesn't know how to take a back step. He's literally forward. That's all he does is forward with his little jumping, like his head back and forth, like with his hair flowing. But the Carpenter, I see Guida making this a dirty fight. I think it's going to be a decision, of course. I think it's going to be – Guida's hard to take out. He's so hard to take out. Like, the only way – I mean, of course, that Diego Sanchez-Clay Guida fight is legendary. It was one of those, like, just crazy fights. But I think it's going to be similar. I think Mark Madsen is going to come forward. He's a young, hungry fighter. He's going to want this. I think it might be a wrestling match, to be really honest. And Clay Guida has a very underrated, working at Team Alpha Male, a very underrated wrestling game. So, but I got Mark Madsen decision. Yeah.
And one thing about Clay Guida's fights, he's going to come. It will not be like.
He doesn't. So, I don't mean to interrupt. He just doesn't have the power, the speed to really, like.
he just it's
Like,
more of him moving and stuff. Now he added more purpose to his movement the past 3 fights, where he just ain't out there just doing this the whole time. But I see it being a decent fight. I'm gonna go with Guida decision.
okay. The only reason I pick Mark Madsen too is because I just think, like I said, the young need the old. I think
Yes,
Guida's a little done. I mean, he's obviously not
he
in his
is. He is.
prime anymore, but
Yeah,
he's just,
he does.
and he's old, isn't he too? He's in his late 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
He is. He is.
let's get that. We'll get the exact number, but he's
Yeah.
I think he's 39, dude. He's
Hmm.
39. Oh, Mark Madsen, 36. So I was way off. Maybe just he was late in the game, but
Hmm.
I was way off. But yeah, 39, man, especially in the lighter weight classes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, brother, I think that wraps up
No,
the
Kevin
actual.
Gastelum, Cannonier.
Oh yeah. My God, the Jared
Yes.
Cannonier, Kelvin Gastelum, how freaking, dude, I love Jared Cannonier. I think Jared Cannonier is definitely the future. I think the way he fights and everything, he has this very, oh my God, how can I explain this? Very, I don't want to show my nerd to be showing, but a very anime fighting style. It's very similar like Israel Adesanya, where it's almost like he gets his ideas and everything from anime, like kung fu, and like you could tell it in his movements. They're just and you hear
Well,
him talk too. He like comes to like practices with special stones and like
yes, yes.
meditates on the
Yeah, he
stones.
does. He does. I've seen that in
Gets
the
his
Abu Dhabi.
aura right. Like I'm talking. He's next level. I think he's like Diego Sanchez when Diego Sanchez was all like kooky or
Yes.
whatnot. But he's different. He's actually really
When he
good.
was, Diego still is cooking.
Yeah, well, Diego, good for. We'll talk about Diego coming up too,
Okay.
but.
Okay. Okay, with the fight, well, I guess it's better to get his movement
And
from
then what about
animes.
pause? Calvin? Don't even get me. Calvin's my best friend, dude. We're over here. We go to every now and
B
again. Like
Dubs.
we're BFs, dude. So I mean, dude, Calvin's over starting in Yuma. Now he's over Kings. Like Calvin is legit. Dude, he beat. Look at his wins, dude. Like he's
Yes,
legit. Will he beat Jared Cannonier? It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be
it
great.
will. It will. It will. Two things. Well, it's best that Canada get his movement from anime instead of hentai. It's best he do that. It's best he gets his move from that.
What do
And the
you know?
thing
What
with
do you know about hentai? You don't know. What do you know about hentai?
I am a cultured individual. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. So
The
okay,
Japanese.
with one culture, it all blends to me. So with the Cannoneer, I like Cannoneer. He ran into a buzzsaw on Robert Whitaker fight, but Robert Whitaker is Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker can beat everybody but Israel Adesanya.
Correct.
So, Cannoneer, I like Cannoneer a lot. I like his explosiveness. Only problem to me with Cannoneer is his grappling. You would think this guy fought at light heavyweight.
Oh, 5-man.
At light heavy. No, he fought at heavy. No, he fought
was
at
a
heavy.
heavyweight for a little while. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He fought at heavyweight. Now he's fighting at middleweight. He looks shredded and cut. I was hoping that his power at heavyweight translate, and it should. And with I'm rooting him in this fight, but Kevin Gastelum, Yuma guy. The thing about Kevin Gastelum too is Kevin Gastelum needs this fight. Kevin Gastelum took a couple of short notice fights and stuff for the company and all that, and he lost. But he had a full count. In order for Kevin Gastelum to still be in discussion, he needs to win this fight.
I agree.
With his speed, and if he utilizes wrestling a little bit, because Canada has shown grappling has been his weakness, even at middleweight, which I'm surprised coming from heavyweight. You would think he's got his strength. So I'm rooting for Kevin Gastelum in this fight, just because he's a Yuma guy. But Cannonier got a great story.
The record. So the past 4 fights, we got. Let's go 6 fights because he did fight Jan Block. He fought Jan, lost to a decision. Jared Cannonier. He fought Dominic Reyes, lost in a TKO. But then he started rattling his middleweight debut. This was in middleweight now. David Branch, TKO. Anderson Silva, TKO, leg kicks. Jack Hermanson, TKO punches. And then he just lost to Robert Whittaker in a decision, which he looked not – he was – I think he broke his hand. He was injured in the first round, literally injured. So
Yes.
And then you have Kelvin Gastelum, his last few fights. He lost to Israel Adesanya, lost to Darren Till, split, lost to Jack Hermanson, submission, heel hook. Beat Ian Hench in a decision, but lost to Robert Whittaker in a decision. So it's like you said, Calvin needs this fight. Like, it's not a need, it's not a want, it's a need at this point.
Because he's a title contender, and like that fight when he fought Israel Adesanya,
great, that fight of the year. It was so
that
good.
Fight wasn't that fight for the belt?
Yeah, it was for the belt. It was Calvin versus Israel.
So he's coming. Like, he fought for the belt, and he's young. He needs his fight to still be in that discussion as a guy in the middleweight division.
Yeah, the last 4 fights, he's 3-1. So I mean, we'll see. I'm telling you, dude, Jared Cannonier. There's some fighters, and I just sense something. There's a sense that they're different. I'm not saying they're like better per se. They're just different. Like, for instance, Yuri, whatever his name is, he's different. Like, but like, dude, like he's actually backup for the championship fight, the 205 championship fight. So, but Yuri, he's different. And like,
let's get on Kevin Gastelum too. Kevin Gastelum's problem is weight cut. Can you imagine Kevin Gastelum at welter? He was forced to go up to middle, and the problem with Kevin Gastelum too is these fighters are getting taller and longer.
Yeah.
If he can get disciplined and go to welterweight, he will have more success. Speaking of which, Sean Strickland. Did you hear about what Sean Strickland said about Kevin Gastelum?
No.
He pretty much said. He said he's a lazy piece of shit. He said that Kevin Gastelum, he don't want to put in the work, and that's the reason why his career is going the way it's going.
No, Kevin Gastelum just wants to continue eating enchiladas and tacos. I don't blame him.
Yes,
like, I don't. Like,
yes.
It's fine. Like, I want my China pie. I want my tiramisu. The thing is, this is what I say. Kelvin Gastelum is like, what? Isn't he like one of the top middleweights? Like, I mean. Like, why are you saying someone's lazy and whatnot and not go down? He's literally one of the top fighters at middleweight. So,
okay, I found a quote. Let me read the quote real quick. Kevin is such a lazy fuck. To have somebody with so much potential, but to be just a lazy motherfucker, Strickland said. It depends if Kevin is not a fucking bitch and he's training hard. They asked Strickland who will win this fight. They asked Strickland who's going to win this fight. Upcoming fight. He said, Kevin, it depends if Kevin is not being a little fucking bitch and he's training hard and he's hitting the gym, he's working. If he's not going wandering over fucking Brazil making friends, then Kevin has a legitimate shot at being Cannonier. But if Kevin is being a lazy fuck and going all over the world taking pictures of people, then he's gonna have a bad night.
I think Sean Strickland's starting to set up his next few fights. Like, jeez. He got Kelvin Gastelum next after Luke Rockhold. He's just making a lot of enemies.
Now, there's some truth to that. There's in everything, there's a little bit of truth to that. Kevin, because he couldn't make welter. Kevin was a great welter. Dana, he missed weight multiple times. Dana said, go up to middle. And he even missed weight at middleweight a few times. He left. The reason why he left Yuma was due to weight. He was at home eating tacos, eating tortillas, and all this stuff with his family. He had to go to a legitimate camp and get a legitimate.
Yeah, dude, he's 5'9", dude. Like, he's 5'9". Like, I'm 5'9". Like, it's like but no, he is thick. Like, he's been wrestling literally all his life. So I mean, you get that thick wrestling. Like, so.
But he's thick, but he's soft thick.
Yeah, he ain't rock. I mean, he's not like Jared Cannonier ripped. Like,
oh man, Cannonier is phenomenal. So
ripped. Like,
so I think that Strickland is setting up his next few fights, and I like Strickland.
Who the fuck? First of all, Sean Strickland came out of nowhere. Like, holy jeez.
And Sean Strickland is smart with the trash talk. Because let's be honest, closed mouths don't get fed.
No, you're right. Hey, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, all these people showed
Nate Diaz.
Nick Diaz. What you do is you come into the game, you get that knockout, that submission, whatever your thing is, like, and then don't shut up. Like literally, just open
And
your
see,
mouth and just let it come out. Like it's
and,
good, bad, and
and,
different.
and if you're a combo fighter, you can talk shit and win. Oh, go mine.
Game over. Then you're the top. Then you're if you
Sean
if you
O'Malley.
talk shit and
Sean
win.
O'Malley doing it.
If you just win, okay. Like you got the Dustin Poiriers, at the time the Khabibs. Khabib's starting to talk quite a bit actually now, but like it is what it is. But then you talk the Conor McGregor, the Ronda Rouseys, the Khabibs, like you were gonna say Sean O'Malley. Dude, Sean O'Malley could be the net like if because he's getting the knockouts. He really is. If he could start to get these like really start talking and start to getting these like beefs back and forth. I think Dominic Cruz would be a great one because Dominic Cruz can talk. Like,
yeah, and too, the thing about it too is Sean O'Malley is doing the thing. And see what Dominic Cruz is. Dominic Cruz can talk, but he has no personality. He's a dick. Like
a little robot dick. Yeah.
He don't have the personality for fans to get behind and love. He got the style to do that, but he don't have he don't have that magnetic personality. Sean O'Malley does.
He doesn't have the X factor. 100% Sean O'Malley has that X factor. You see
Sean O'Malley should fight.
Takashi 6'9" or 9'4", whatever.
Yes.
Hey, Sean, no. Stay away. Snitches get stitches.
Hey, speaking of someone that knows how to gather attention in a troll, hey, 6'9" is the guy. 6'9" is the guy.
Well, there you go. I mean, maybe he's trying to get some freaking ideas and get trained, schooled on trolling.
Since we on the middleweight division, I want to talk about this legend, arguably one of the greatest middleweights of all time, Anderson Silva, just been slated to fight Tito Ortiz on September the 11th on the undercard. On the undercard of the Vitor Belfort Oscar De La Hoya fight. What's your thoughts on that?
That's so weird, man. Like these MMA fighters are going to boxing. Like, I mean, do they see more money in it? Do they see less damage? Do they see
more money?
More lucrative, less damage? So I don't know, man. Like, it's very interesting.
More money. Well, we know Tito's fighting for the money, that's for sure.
Well, that's sad, though. Don't you think that's sad, dude? If there's more money in boxing after you're done MMA than MMA? Like, we're talking about players' pay. We're talking about the greatest of all time. Possibly two of the greatest of all time, Vitor and Anderson. Why aren't they in an MMA fight together? Why is this a boxing match? Like, very
Tito. And two, also, you can box longer than you can MMA fight.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
At a competitor, at a higher level, at a higher level, you can box.
16 gloves. I mean, I've boxed before. I've like shadow boxed, like all that stuff. Getting a hit with a boxing glove is like, it's not as bad, especially if you're wearing a face guard or face mask. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Like, it's not like a small glove like that's barely there that you're getting hit like bare knuckle type thing. Like,
yes, and on top of it too is the training.
I wasn't hit by Mike Tyson or anyone, but
yeah, and and also too, the training too. When you train a box, you don't have to worry about your legs hurting. You ain't gotta worry about your arms hurting. You ain't gotta worry about getting choked out.
A lot less injuries, a lot less potential for injuries because you're standing. You're not going on the mat. You're not twisting. There's no one freaking twisting a leg or a limb. Like, totally different.
So who do you got in that fight?
Dude, I honestly, like, the sweet science of boxing, Anderson Silva, dude. Like, I think Anderson Silva, especially, like, take away the kicks. Like, he's a fantastic boxer. He really is. He's a great boxer. And I think Tito can juice all he wants. Like, you can't, he's not going to knock out Anderson Silva, especially in boxing. Anderson Silva's going to box circles around him. He's going to get the victory. Will he TKO him or will he KO him? Probably not. I think it'll be a decision, but.
Yeah, also too, Tito was a wrestler that trained to box. Tito wasn't a striker at heart. Anderson Silva been a striker, so I like that. And Tito is fine for a check. Tito is a joke right now. He's a clown. Yeah. He's just doing anything to keep his name relevant. Now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said Tito. I was saying Vitor. Tito. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Tito. Like, Anderson Silva never fought Tito Ortiz. Like, I was talking about Vitor. But
now, Speaking of legends, Diego Sanchez. Right now, barring uh, any medical bans are clear or any issues,
Is being insane a medical
yeah,
ban?
he's scheduled a fight in the BKFC. He signed a contract, and the guy over the BKFC said once Diego clears, we're gonna be surprised at the fight he's gonna fight. It's gonna be two legends, two old school guys fighting. We're gonna be shocked. What do you
It's
think
really
about him?
interesting. So we're entering this phase. We've talked about it earlier too. A UFC, MMA in general, is a relatively young sport, like a very young sport actually. What 90s, maybe 80s, you could argue, but late 80s, 90s, it really started to become a thing. So now we're seeing these people being aged out. These 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, like in that age, where obviously your body's gonna start to degenerate in the fact that you're not going to be at the top of the top level. Now they're going into these other avenues: the boxing, the bare knuckle, the Bellator, the lower classes. It's very interesting, and I think it's good. My first instinct is it's good because they're still getting paychecks. They're good enough where they're not gonna retain. They're not gonna get like crazy damage, like the Chuck Liddells, the Rashad Evans. Like those guys got really bad damage at the end of their career. Thank God, like they were like no, like you gotta have people that are like no. If you're getting knocked out 2 fights in a row, 3 fights in a row, you're done. Like you're done. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
really gonna hurt yourself. But this is just a way to keep your career to get the money keep coming in. And these MMA fighters, that's what they do. They fight. That's all they've done in their life. Yes, you can coach maybe, or you could.
Mm-hmm.
You could try to be like the Forrest Griffin and the Chuck Liddell will just do nothing but be associated with the UFC. Like I
Yes.
love Forrest Griffin. Every now and again, he like commentates. He does his weird thing. He says something
Mm-hmm.
like he's in that commercial with Dominic Cruz. Like you see
Yes.
that like he'll
The
do like
tire
that.
commercial.
Yeah, but long story short, I think it's good. I'm glad. I'm glad they're boxing. I'm glad Diego's doing this. Like, add
All
some
right.
more money.
All right. Two things I have with that. I'm gonna speak on the Forrest Griffin situation first. Okay. Originally, Dana White. It was a three-headed monster. It was Matt Hughes, Chuck Liddell,
Forrest
and
Griffin.
Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay, they was pretty much getting hooked up. Forrest Griffin got hooked up because he put the UFC on the map with Ultimate Fighter to fight with him, Stephon Bonner.
Yeah.
Matt Hughes and Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was Dana's guy, and so they literally had them at
Well,
cushion
they're Chuck
positions.
Liddell and Nate are like best friends. Like
Yeah,
they're friends.
so they literally had them at cushion positions just to pay him to just
And
take
and
care of.
if I like Chuck Liddell, Dana White was Chuck Liddell's manager too. So
Yes, yes. So just to keep them paid and take care of them. The problem happened when UFC was bought over when it was the Tito brothers and I forget who else. But anyways, the issue was when they got bought over, Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes actually had to work, and they was just getting money and they fired him. Forrest Griffin's the one that actually was doing a little bit of work, so they kept him on. And
well,
they would have kept.
Forrest Griffin. He had that book. He actually, I don't know if it was a bestseller, but it
Yep,
was it was a pretty good, successful book. He's an intelligent guy. Like he's
yep,
like
yes.
articulate.
And see, they would have kept Diego, but uh, but your boy, his manager slash partner or whatever,
Fabia,
uh,
Fabia.
Fabia screwed him over, and he left in a bad light. Now, what I feel about this card, the last person that needs to be fighting bare knuckle is Diego Sanchez. I hate it because the guy has exhibited brain trauma and exhibited deterioration and everything, and I think Fabia screwed him over where he got to go to BKFC. It's good for we got Diego Sanchez fighting bare knuckle for the name and stuff. But this guy right now has exhibited brain trauma, and he shouldn't have to be fighting. He should still be in the UFC or give him a cush position. He don't give him a cush position.
I think
I,
there's some. You remember that video? I think I saw it was just disgusting where he had Diego Sanchez upside down. And he was like beating the loving crap out of him. Like
yes,
those are the things that's what we saw. Imagine the things we didn't see, like that was going on and
he,
everything like that. Like
he
I think you hit the nail on the head. There's obviously some sort of trauma,
yes.
brain trauma, something going on. Like so.
You know, can you imagine what's on?
Allegedly, we're not doctors, so
Yeah,
allegedly.
Can you imagine what's on the OnlyFans account? He probably was punching him in the balls, feedbacking his balls upside down. Yeah. We don't know what wasn't seen, but so I think that the
speed bagging his balls.
Yep, he probably was doing it with his mouth too. But hey, that just be saying.
Speed
but anyway,
his balls.
There you go. But see, my thing is, I think that situation screwed up Diego's opportunities and Diego's career afterwards. And Diego has been fighting in the UFC longer than anybody. He shouldn't have to go to bare knuckle fighting. He should be set with money. He should be set with money.
You would think so, but again, talking about money, like Diego's not making million. Like what was I don't. We'll have to get up his contract. Maybe he was making what, 100,000, 80,000. Like, I mean, and then after a while, your lifestyle, like, I mean, his choices, Diego's life choices are definitely going to affect his bottom line and his money. So.
And this guy literally been fighting in the UFC for 15, 16 years. Getting 100,000. Getting 100,000. That's crazy. So I don't like it, but I get he may still have an itch he want to prove, or he may be broke. One of the two.
I think he's broke.
Fabio said he's broke. Fabio said he was broke.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing Fabio was right about with his thing is he's broke. But okay, you got any other? Other brain busters?
Okay, one last thing with this: Stipe Miocic, John Jones.
Oh, we coming back. Okay, let's talk.
And heavyweight. Stipe agreed to fight, but John Jones don't want to fight him. John Jones his coach Winklejohn said that John Jones is the greatest fighter arguably of all time. He shouldn't have to fight one tune-up fight before he get the belt. He should go straight for the belt. That's
not a tune-up fight. Like, what are you talking about?
He should go for the belt.
Is literally possibly the greatest heavyweight of all time, and still you could argue in his prime, but just getting out of his prime. That's not a tune-up fight. That's a stupid.
And he also thing to say. He also says Stipe is not inciting. He doesn't get him incited. And then
Stipe is only in exciting fights. Literally, name a boring fight Stipe has been in. Like.
And then John also after that tweeted 2022 champion.
I see that. I do see that though. I think like if he gets one fight, let's just say he does fight the Stipe fight. If he wins that, there's no question. No question. He goes for the championship. No. Like
okay, my thing with that is if you don't need a tune-up fight, John, why are you doing all these workouts to gain weight, to pick up mass? Why are you doing all, and why is it taking over a year? Why is it taking all this? If it wasn't,
he's been picking up mass for like 2-3 years now, dude. So
if it wasn't that serious, go and fight. So obviously you need something because you've been training to pick up mass to fight it heavy for a while. So
I think what's gonna happen is John Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic, and hopefully I would love it this year. Hopefully sometime this year, okay? Win. Then he's going to go on a coke and crack bender. He's going to hit 3 pregnant women this time, and 2 of them are going to have twins. So that's, I don't do the math on that one. That's a lot of kids.
Six people.
And then Dana White's going to be like, John, not again, John. And then he'll fight for the championship in 2022.
Yeah, 2022. So
John Jones is literally like, he's just, at this time, it's just like, he could do anything. He could murder someone, and I'm just like, that's fucking John Jones. He's just like, it's fucking John Jones. Like, he's like.
And you know, that's because, to go back to what we was talking about, winning. Talking trash and winning. Winning is the only reason why he has that leash to do whatever the hell he wants to do. He makes the UFC a lot more money. And to go back to also what we was talking about, John was asking for, a certain amount of money.
Yeah, was it 20 or 50 million? Something. It was pretty absurd.
It was like 10 plus. Like it was like 10.
It was definitely. It was a lot. It was like whoa.
It was like I'll say 20. So he's asking for that, and you know what Dana did in true fashion? He shunned John Jones. He talked trash about John Jones, and this was just for. And this was just,
that's John what Dana White does, dude. If you disagree with Dana White, he talks trash about you. That's what he does.
And you're the bad guy.
And you're the bad guy. Tyrone Woodley, ask Tyrone Woodley if you should talk trash with Dana White. Like
and see what John too was. John just wanted it for this fight. But it's Francis. The fight Francis.
Yeah, but let's talk about that, dude. once you taste the lollipop, you take one lick, you want the whole thing, dude. Like once you eat that chocolate cake, you get a piece of it. So
yeah, and
Dana knows that
and,
too.
and you know one thing Dana do know also
Money.
is that John has made Dana so much money. So even if Dana paid John 30 mil for this fight, Dana would still come out on top.
Oh God, yes.
Still
But
come
the
out.
thing is, John knows that this fight, especially a Stipe fight, John Jones, Stipe Miocic, heavyweight. Put anyone else on that card, it's gonna sell out. Like I would kill to watch that. I'd kill to see that live. Like God.
One thing that John needs to realize is this: he lost a lot of time due to him fucking up a lot off his prime careers. Now this is his choice to lose a year and a half. John, you only have so much long in your prime, and so to be great. You take all this time off and do these things, you come back. Your body may not work like it used to. You never know with all the time. It just hits you. You never know. So
Yeah, man.
he lost years from him fucking up, doing drugs, legal issues. Now he's
Multiple
taking
years.
Now he's taking this time to take off a year. Come on, John. You only got so much time, John. Get in
Who do
there,
you got?
fight.
Stipe or John?
Oh, John.
I got John too. It's so funny, dude.
Speed.
There's almost no argument. Like best of all time MMA wise, like in the cage, John Jones. It's hard to even like argue that. Like his lone loss was a 12-6 elbow with Matt Hamill, which he almost murdered Matt Hamill. He almost killed a man in the ring because of that. So, but the dude like fighting wise is flawless. Like He has how many wins on DC now? Like
Yeah, he's flawless.
And DC is arguably even like just a notch below John Jones. Like he just couldn't beat John Jones. Like
yes. So
I don't know.
I agree.
So it is what it is. But yeah, I got John Jones in the fight. Okay, what do we got?
Speed, technique, and Stipe has no advantage in that fight. And Stipe is a light heavyweight.
Have the height or reach. John Jones' reach is absurd.
And John will come in as a heavier fighter because Stipe is a lighter heavyweight.
That's his advantage. You got Francis Ngannou. That'll be a fight.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got? Is that it?
That's it.
That's the big one. Okay, MMA fans of MMA, everything in between. We are the Real MMA Bros coming at you. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, what else? Anything you want to talk about with me and Chris, you can reach us over at therealmmabros@gmail.com. Like and subscribe, please. Comment. We want to build this community. We're an MMA community, but we're also a sports community. So if you guys want to talk about other sports, me and Chris dabble. We dabble in other sports.
Yeah, we dabble in other.
NFL. Oh, speaking of that, I got to get my fantasy all right. Like, I got to start researching that stuff. So, got my boy Tom Brady. Gotta get Tom Brady. Let's go. You got anything else to add, Chris?
I have nothing. As always, good podcast. And also, if you have any, as you mentioned, it doesn't matter good or bad. I embrace it all. As long as you watch.
I'm still waiting for the trolls, man. There's no trolls.
Not yet.
Come on, guys. Like, look at us. Like, I mean, Chris is a good guy, but you could roast him pretty hard. Like, he can take it.
Yeah, you can roast me pretty hard. Everyone is roastable, and I'm definitely roastable, so go right ahead.
Everyone's roastable. You could talk about my stash. You could talk about a lot of things. My bald head. I'm a pretty handsome man, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, okay, I'm getting there.
You know.
Super man.
There you go.
But like I said, guys, we appreciate it. Please, like I said, like and subscribe, listen, communicate. I love all of you. I love it. I love life. I love the universe. We're all in this together. So,
yes.
Peace and love.
One team, one fight. Out.